If you snooze, you lose. Keys open doors. These are principles and aspects that we apply to our life each and every single day, especially Monday through Friday. Let me throw one more at you. The early bird gets the worm. What does that mean, really? Who's the early bird and who's this worm? Does it mean that if you're the early bird, you're destined to get whatever you desire because you're first? Well, what if you're the late bird? Does it mean there's not going to be any worms at all to get? When you think about it, who really wouldn't want success at the tip of their fingers? So when you think about it, let's look at some of the advantages to being first. We usually award people with a cash prize, a gold medal, gold award, gold star in school. So who wouldn't want that? Wouldn't you want to be first in line at a concert, first in line at the DMV, first to hear about Bitcoin? So let's break this down a little bit. One of the many benefits of being first is that you have the advantage of being respected. It's honorable. It shows where your morals lie. Being first and being the early bird gives you the advantage to see the big picture before it gets overcrowded and distorted. This is Mount Everest. I'll let you decide if these are early birds or late birds. Let's look at some of the disadvantages of being the late bird. If you're late to class, you could end up getting detention. If you're consistent with that, you may end up getting suspended or expelled. At work, you could get written up, you could lose privileges, you could lose pay, lose hours, you could lose your job. What if you're the late bird that gets to the traffic light? You could have an accident, an injury, and you're probably gonna get a ticket. So you're gonna have to come out of your pocket with some money. Seems as if there's a negative side effect, domino effect, if you will, to being the late bird. Now, I want to bring something to your attention. A lot of us are willing to do anything that we can, go through any kind of environment, any kind of situation to be the early bird. My question to you is, how bad do you want it? Let me break this down for you and give you a picture. Imagine it being Thanksgiving. You've ate good, you had great conversations, spent the entire day with your friends and family, but now the evening presents itself. You start to formulate a game plan, you don't use the restroom, you don't eat, don't drink, or anything like that because your mind is focused on being the early bird. So before you head out the door, you grab all your sales papers, you grab a tent, your sleeping bag, you grab lawn chairs. Why? Because you're about to camp outside of a department store. Why? Because you want to be the early bird that gets that big, fat, juicy, wireless, $500 off, limited edition, limited supply worm. People want to see happy faces for Christmas. So, technology. Most of us here have cell phones, and we really don't know who we are without them. It knows literally everything about us. It knows our name, it speaks to us, it recognizes our face, tells us where to go, and we treat it all kinds of ways. We protect it, we drop it, we lose it, we locate it. On average, a normal person checks their phone a minimum of 150 to 200 times a day, even if there's no text message, no email, or no phone call. So, when a cell phone comes out and it has the latest, greatest features that no other cell phone, no other provider has ever had before, it causes awareness to the early bird. So are you gonna be the early bird with the latest, greatest technology, or are you going to be the late bird with the old prehistoric technology and clunky phone? My question to you is, how bad do you want to be the early bird? Y'all may recognize this picture, this dance. It's from the video game Fortnite. And even if you've never played the game before, dances from this game have gone insanely viral, worldwide even. And technology and video games have come a really, really long way. For example, there's platforms like Twitch and other streaming platforms. So instead of standing in line, just think about it. You decided to pre-order your favorite video game. You've watched all the trailers, you've read all of the reviews, and you decided, hey, I stood in line for my cell phone, I stood in line for Black Friday, I'm gonna be smart and pre-order. But even with the pre-order, you still have to go to the store, stand in line, and pick it up. So you pick it up, and you're on your way home, and you tell your friends, hey guys, let's get on at 7 o'clock. Plug everything in, get ready to go. 7 o'clock presents itself. You get ready to play, and you realize your controller isn't working. What's wrong? You forgot to charge up your wireless controller. You got everything you wanted, but not everything you needed. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if you're first in line. It doesn't matter how early you get there. If you don't have a key to open up the door, it's as if you were standing there for nothing. Let's look at the role of the early bird. You gotta wake up early, get out of bed, fly around, and start looking for a place to hunt and dig for worms, right? You finally swoop down, you start digging, you grab that one worm, put it in your mouth, and you fly to the nest, right? Flying to the nest to feed the other birds, just to do it all over again. At school, you wake up, you get out of bed, you look for the opportunities to learn, look for the lessons that your teacher gives you, and you start digging for answers. Then you fly back home to the nest. With work, you wake up, you get out of bed, you hit the snooze button, and then you wake back up, you get out of bed, you look for job opportunities, and then you start digging for solutions. Then you fly back home in traffic. If you want my opinion, this sounds like a vicious cycle for an early bird. You either go hungry, you give up, or you just become a vegetarian. So when it comes down to it, who really gets the worm? What if I told you that the early bird only comes in second place? It doesn't come in first place. It sounds alarming, sounds strange, because we've never heard that before. The more we hear things, the more we believe them to be true. And the mind doesn't like change. That's why we have routine. But what if I told you that the very thing that gets the worm first is dirt? This is something that we overlook. You can't analyze a dirt's IQ. It's not smart. It's as dumb as rocks. But it does one thing, and it does one thing well. It provides. It's an abundant source. See, if you go digging in the dirt, you'll find an abundance of worms. Why are you just going to go after one worm when the worms are everywhere? Be a source. A lot of us are afraid to roll up our sleeves and get dirty. You see, dirt, it's all around you. And a lot of us will honestly get buried in it. You literally can't get rid of it. It can blow away, it can go down the drain, but it will not go away. It will outlive us. So roll in the mud, roll up your sleeves, and start getting dirty. Doesn't it make more sense to be the developer instead of the consumer? When you're the developer, you don't have to wake up early. You don't have to be first, because everybody comes to you. We treat time like it's the best bank account in the world. There's no overdraft fees. There's no transaction fees. You can always go to the ATM and get more time. And it's accepted everywhere. But as a person who suffers from sleep apnea, I know that time is limited. You only have so much of it. So when you really think about time and what we do with it, top level anything needs bottom level everything. You are your outcome. Thank you.